Congressman Chris Collins of New York has been indicted on charges of insider trading. He pleaded not guilty in court yesterday. Federal prosecutors say Collins, his son, and another man face 13 charges of securities fraud, wire fraud, and filing false statements. The U.S. Attorney's Office alleges the defendants avoided hundreds of thousands of dollars in losses by using non-public information to trade shares of an Australian pharmaceutical company.
Congressman Collins couldn't keep his crime a secret forever. The FBI asked to interview him, and instead of telling the truth, he lied. And so did Cameron Collins, and so did Stephen Zarsky. By lying to the FBI, they compounded their insider trading crime with the crime of criminal cover-up.
At a news conference last night, Collins, who is seeking re-election, said he planned to remain on the November ballot and continue to fight what he says are meritless charges. Here to talk more about this is criminal defense attorney Vikas Bajaj. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, so let's talk about this. He is vehemently denying these charges and saying that he will be vindicated in all of this, mostly because his defense is that he didn't sell his shares. Therefore, he took a significant loss, but under rules he really wouldn't have been able to anyway, right?
That's correct, because essentially his holding in those interests in the pharmaceutical company in Australia were frozen. There was a congressional investigation going on in regards to the ethics committee regarding his potential conflict of interest, so he really couldn't do anything at that point in time. That ends up being a saving grace. That helps him, because the statute which penalizes insider trading requires that you know something very important that people out there in the community don't generally know, that you have a fiduciary duty to the company. For instance, he was on the board of directors. And then the proliferation of that information for a financial goal, which leads to a stock trade. So you're correct. While he did not actually make a trade himself, the statute also penalizes people who give the tips to those who then make the trade. It's an interesting culture we're in right now, because I don't know if this case is really going to be about guilt or innocence. It's very similar to what I believe about the Paul Manafort case. It's not about convincing the jury, I believe, that a crime was not committed. It's really presenting the case to the judge. Many times in trial, some people say, Mr. Bajaj, how can you go to trial on these facts? Well, you have to understand, in California and in federal courts around the nation, the judge, not the jury, the judge has the unique responsibility to pronounce sentence. So many times the prosecution in cases portrays a very, very draconian and horrible viewpoint and portrayal of a person's client. But while the technical violation may be there, while the law may have been broken, the presentation of the mitigating evidence and potential affirmative defenses puts many of our clients in a better position, because the judge will say, you know what, I heard 3 months of ostrich jacket testimony, and at the end of the day, you know, it's a relatively de minimis violation.
And prosecutors are saying they have evidence of phone call after phone call after phone call that Representative Collins made to his son following information of learning that a clinical trial for this Australian pharmaceutical company in which he was a board member had some negative results.
Right.
So they're saying, look, he definitely shared information with family members to benefit them. My question to you is, and now we're looking at these ethic rules with a lot of these senators, congressmen, why are they allowed to serve, should they be allowed to serve on boards like this that have public interest that could financially impact them heavily, and family members? I mean, why complicate things further?
I think we'll need a full pot of coffee in a few hours to answer that question, but I will tell you, that's a conflict of interest. That is the elephant in the room. You know, I have... And
we see this time and time again with people who are public servants.
Absolutely, and one might wonder, you know, with a public servant's salary, how is it that most of these representatives and congressmen are fly fishing on a 200-acre plot of land in Virginia on a public servant's salary? And to your point, the amount of knowledge and inside information that these representatives gain just by the mere fact of their representative capacity is a very important tool that can be used to benefit themselves. And understand, insider trading is not going after your own trades that may have been pre-scheduled, part of a routine, part of a pattern. So the issue here is, how do you separate the two? I don't believe you can, and you have to set up a fictitious wall and hope and pray that somebody doesn't jump over it.
Well, that's why they say power is more important than money in some cases. So we'll see what happens with this, and he says he's going to stay on the ballot. So Vikas Bajaj, thank you so much again for your expertise this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.